Hi, and welcome back to Hair Smarter. This is where we talk about all the things that hair school forgot to teach you. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Sarajane, and today we're diving into a topic that every stylist thinks about, but most of us put off until we're overworked, exhausted, and underpaid. This is about raising your prices.
Anyway, what's up, girl? What have you been up to?
Well, I have a friend in town, so I've been hanging out with her, and it's been a blast just catching up and hanging out. How was Bill's 80th?
Ooh, yeah, my dad, we threw him an 80th birthday lunch, and we had about 30 people there. His brother and sister came in, and his cousin,
Oh.
all these people from all over, so that was really fun. But what my sister and I decided to do, instead of doing, like, boring toast, we decided to do an old school roast. So we
Oh
had
my God.
like different people come up and tell funny stories from like when he grew up and when we grew up and then like people that he worked with. So I think it was really fun.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
totally. I was like, "Oh, my dad was a little bit of a wild child." All right.
Were you down in Pennsylvania or were you
Yeah, we were down in like Westchester, Pennsylvania. We went to like this cute little Italian restaurant. So,
okay?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And did
We
Ellie come?
Oh, she was sick, she couldn't come, and she has midterms. But my
Okay.
little nephew Ben was there and my other
Nice.
2 nephew and niece, so it was cute.
Okay, fun.
Yeah, man.
Fun.
Felt like I put on a little skit like we used to when we were little.
Cute. Cute. It's fun when all the family can be together.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure, for
Like it's
sure.
so rare when everyone can make it to the events. For me, it's always like, oh, one or two of my brothers can make it, but not all of them.
Totally. Or then you start talking to people and you're like, "Oh, yeah, I probably should go out to San Diego and see them." It's just good. It gets you, like, grounded, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of grounded, we got a good one today.
Yeah.
This one's for anyone who's fully booked, working hard, and wondering why the math still isn't mathing.
We're breaking it down with some insights from a few experts who really get the business side of things and who really get the business side of service work. It's not
Mm,
just salons, but it's industries that function like ours as well.
awesome. Awesome. I'm so excited for this. Also, it's something that we think about all the time as hairstylists. And I think today's episode, especially, is going to give us like the step by step on how to do this in the best way possible and so that you feel good about it. So let's get into it. The first part that we want to talk about is how do you know it's time?
Huh.
Oof. I mean, before we get into the research, I mean, how do you know it's time?
Well, it's funny because it's been different. I've been doing hair for almost 30 years. And like as a young person, I was always very scared to raise my prices.
Mm,
Maybe it was a self-worth thing, maybe I didn't feel busy enough, or I just felt guilty. Money is
mm,
just such a funny thing to talk about with people, right? So
yeah.
I just was like, I'm avoiding it at all costs because it's just an awkward situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, yeah. When did it ever feel right? Well, it's never really felt right for me to do it.
Mm,
So I think putting together like a plan and making it about research, right? Because it isn't a personal thing, which we do take on. We make it about us and make it personal.
right.
So
Right.
let's take it away from us and put the math and the science behind it.
Yeah, totally. I guess it's funny because we are like such feeling people. And as creatives, you're very compassionate and empathetic and all of these things. So you do kind of live in this world every day in feelings, right? And like for me, the first part that I know it's time to raise my prices is actually a feeling. I start getting annoyed. I start being like, oh, wow, these are all these people, but it doesn't seem like it's a feeling. It's like unrest. It's like, ugh, why isn't this feeling like I'm getting what I'm worth right now? And so just being able to like check in with myself and be like, okay, let me see if the math and the science actually come together and if it is a good time to raise my price because I still want to be moving up. I own my own business. I've been doing that for 8 years and like, okay, well what do I need to do to be able to have that and to be able to raise my prices. So it does for me start with a feeling, but then I
Mhm.
try to take myself out of it and look at actually the math and be like, okay, does this make sense right now? And then how am I actually going to implement that? So yeah, it's a tricky one, and you're right, money is a weird thing to talk about. It's a weird thing to have a relationship with. On one side, we're, like, giving people something and making them feel good, but also there's a price tag on that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Can I just talk about the feeling that
Yeah.
you're talking
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
and my experience with the
Yeah.
feeling? I think what happens is the exhaustion sets in, right? So you're
Yeah.
like, well, this has happened to me. Am I walking out the door and I'm going to make this amount of money?
Mm.
Like, it just feels heavy and like I can't do this anymore type of feelings. Like,
Yeah.
it's not worth it to me to go through what I'm gonna go through to get paid this amount of money. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
I
I think about it mostly in like a house call situation because we are independent stylists here, right? We're not working in the salon and having to ask for a raise from somebody else. We're implementing our own raises here,
mm.
right?
Mhm.
And I think about house calls and like, is it worth, my time and my energy? I walk out the door at noon, say, and then I go do one haircut and I get home at 4 p.m. Like, is it worth it for this dollar amount? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes, it's not. And then that's when you have to really, process what
Think
you're.
it through, and right? And be like, "All right, what actually would make me feel like it was worth it? And then
Exactly.
how do I actually get to that price? Is it 1 jump? Is it 2 jump? Is it 3 jump?" You know, how do you actually do it, right? You got what's happening now, and then you have where you wanna be, and it's really this part in here. How do you do that gracefully?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
I think that's incredible. Well, we did do a little research on this because we were both like, oh boy, let's figure out how to do this. So I want to start with a name that's actually not from the salon world. Professor Joern Meissner. He studies pricing for businesses that sell time and capacity, like hotels, airlines, restaurants.
Which sounds fancy, but it's actually us
Mm.
because we're a capacity business too. We sell hours behind the chair. And Meisner's research shows that when your inventory is always sold out, you're actually underpriced.
Ooh. So basically, that means if your books are packed out weeks in advance and you can't take any new clients, that's not actually a sign that you've made it. It's a signal to raise your price point. Otherwise, you're losing opportunities and burning yourself out.
Yeah, crazy
Yeah.
burnout.
Yeah.
And here's what I love about this perspective, it takes the emotion out of it. Puts
Yes.
that awkwardness away. It's not about being greedy or even charging what you're worth. It's basic math about supply and demand. And when you're fully booked, you've hit your ceiling. And raising your prices is actually like a release valve.
Exactly, exactly. And that's something a lot of stylists don't even realize. Being booked solid isn't a badge of honor if you're booked at the wrong price,
Yeah,
right?
that's not sustainable either. Uh,
No, it's not.
No, because you cannot go day in and day out working like that and take good care of yourself and eat good food and get the rest
Y-
that you need.
Yeah,
You're just gonna burn out, and I think we've all done it.
we have, right? So I guess the next question in this step is if we're booked and we're not able to take new clients and we're like, okay, it's time. The next question is how much and how often?
Now let's bring it closer to home. Neil Ducoff, he's a salon business coach and the founder of Strategies. And he's basically the godfather of structured pricing and team based pay in salons.
Hmm. Dukoff always says pricing is a muscle. You have to exercise it regularly. He recommends reviewing and adjusting prices every 12 to 18 months, even if it's just a small increase.
And this is so important because oftentimes stylists wait years and years to raise their prices until inflation, rent, color costs, and burnout hit all at once. And
Mm.
then they're in a panic raise. And oftentimes that can mean just like too much too soon. And it shocks your clients and everybody's nervous system.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So Dukoff actually says small, predictable adjustments keep your business healthy. Think of it like trims between a big haircut, maybe a bang trim or just dusting the ends. It's maintenance, not overhaul.
I love that. And it takes
Yeah.
the guilt out of it. It's not you waking up feeling expensive, it's you running your business like a professional.
It's so smart. I was speaking to my therapist a while ago, maybe a couple years ago at this point. And he had sent me a letter and he was like, "Hey, I'm raising my price." I was like, "Okay, great, whatever." And he asked me, he's like, "Well, how often do you raise your prices?" And I was like, "Well, and when you go into the thing and you're like, "Oh, if it's really booked or if I'm doing this," and you try to like say all the things and he's like, "No, you need to raise your price at least 3% every year." And I was like, "Oh, oh, okay." He's like, "That's the rate of inflation." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." So I kind of took that to heart. 3%. I was like, "Oh, okay. Let me think about that." And maybe it comes out to 10 or $15. I don't know. But if you are in that place where you're booked all the time, like, yes, that is what it is. Otherwise, you end up losing money. Like you're actually the next year, let's say inflation goes up, right? Not to like get into the weeds here, but like if inflation goes up, which I think right now it is about 3%, if you turn over the new year and you're still charging what you charged last year, then you're actually not even making the same amount per haircut because everything else got more expensive.
It's
And
crazy.
like when he kind of explained it to me like that, I was like, oh, yeah, that does make sense.
And if you do it every year at the same time, it
Mm.
becomes predictable and clients they come to expect it. So it's not so jarring and it's not, a hit for them either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And I love this thing where you're doing it, and I've actually adopted this as well. Like, do it the end of August, do it the beginning of September. That's about to be when, at least for us, that's our busy season,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Basically, I think about it from like fashion week or back to school
Yes.
all the way through the holidays. Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want to give yourself a little bit of a raise then so that you are ready? So I always think of the new year as like the beginning of September.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
So I guess that does make sense. So it's like, all right, we know there's a problem. We know how much and how often now.
Yeah.
3%, maybe every 12 to 18 months seems like a great idea. Is it 10 or $15? I don't know. Like that all depends on, are you independent? Do they have like a system in place at your salon? Like how much you raise it? These are all things that you should be aware of. I know our job mainly is to like be of service to people, our clients, and to do hair, but don't sell yourself short. You need to know about the money stuff too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, how do we tell our clients?
Great question. Because this is the hard part, right? This is like, we could all sit in the back room and be like, fuck yeah, you know what? It is time to raise my price. I'm like 80% booked all the time. Like, I need to get out there. I'm like, going to raise my price. And
Mhm.
then oh my God, how do I actually tell my clients?
Yeah.
Right?
It's
And you could
hard.
get stuck in that. So,
Mhm.
you've decided to raise your price. Now comes the scary telling your clients. This is where Utpal Dholakia, I think that's how they say their name, their research comes in. He's a behavioral economist who studies how people react to price changes.
Interesting. Interesting. It's so
Mhm.
funny how there's so many jobs out there that
I know. I'm glad somebody's studying it
I
because, like,
know
in
it's
my brain, like, I
incredible.
make up stories about people. So, you know,
Well, his main takeaway is it's not the number that matters, it's how you explain it. Clients don't
mm,
leave because you raise prices, they leave because they feel blindsided or confused.
yeah. Honestly, I have to say, like, reading this and doing this research for this podcast episode made a huge difference for me. And
Ugh.
here's why. He found that transparency is everything. When you clearly link a price change to something tangible, like rising product costs, advanced education that
Yeah,
you're taking, a better experience,
yeah,
people actually perceive it as fair.
100%.
Yeah.
So instead of over apologizing, just simply say it. And here's one that you can use. Like, starting this date, my prices will adjust slightly to keep up with rising costs and ongoing education. Thank you so much for your continued support, and I can't wait to see you. Simple.
Simple. The sweet spot, short, clear, human. The biggest part I saw in that little script that you just shared is that there's no essay, there's no guilt. You're not giving them the whole 5 hour, like, and then this and tariffs and like, no, it's just bump, 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 short, clear, human. Love it.
Clear, effective communication.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's it. And I will say, as you know, I know that we've had conversations like this in the past. We've known each other for what, 25 years now? Oof. I mean,
Crazy.
we
Yeah.
look at the same, obviously. Our skin is still exactly how it was then. Um, but we've had this conversation before, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, if I just raise it $10, do I even have to tell them? Like, if I raise it this much, should I explain why? Like, when we came back from the pandemic, we were like, oh, God, we should raise our prices because of this and like all the everything. And we should tell them the whole story and la, 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 la. And like, you go into this whole thing. And honestly, like, there's been times when I have given the essay. There's been times when I've raised my prices, crossed my fingers, and been like, oh, I hope they don't notice. Like, if I'm already at a $200 price point, which is the New York City price point, I understand that's not everywhere, but like whatever your price point is, and you add $10, you're like, will they even notice after tax and tip and all the but like, I actually feel much better about this very clear, not emotional, transparent way of just telling people, hey, this is what's going to happen, done and done.
Yeah, and we live in a time where communication is so easy. For independent stylists, our Square point of sale systems have marketing emails. You can send out a quick email just to inform everybody all at once, all at the same time. Posting on social media,
Mm.
effective. That way, everybody knows, everybody gets the message, and nobody's blindsided.
Yeah, and, like, if you just communicate it up front, everybody knows what they're getting into, right? So, that brings us to hairdressers' favorite thing, right? Exceptions, discounts, legacy clients, friends, whatever
Oh,
it is,
God, this
okay?
one's so hard
Oh,
for
I know.
because we have that core group of people, right, that have been with us for 20, 30 years, and they've been at that first price for so long, right?
Mhm.
So the last perspective comes from a guy named Steve Gomez. He's a salon business coach who focuses on mindset and profit. And he talks about the connection between your emotional boundaries and your financial ones.
Ooh, he might be worth looking into after the podcast for sure, because Steve says stylists tend to operate from guilt. Hmm, raise your hand if you're I mean, not if you're
Nope.
driving, but yep. Especially with loyal clients. And here's the hard truth, okay? Discounts and undercharging will chip away from your long-term goals. You can't pour from an empty wallet.
No, no. And those loyal clients are always going to stay around, right? So
Yes.
not raising their prices is not sustainable.
Totally.
And he teaches that money boundaries are professional boundaries. If your
Mm.
energy, time, or resources are maxed out, your prices need to adjust, not your schedule and not your self worth.
And he's also really big on looking at your numbers. So Steve recommends you know your average ticket price, your pre-book percentage, and your rebooking rate. That's a dashboard. Okay. So average ticket, that means, if you look at all your clients and you take the average amount that they spend with you, that's your average ticket price. Then your pre-book percentage. So how many people are actually pre-booking before the day comes when you're cutting, color, whatever. And then your rebook rate. So are they rebooking afterwards? Is it right away? Is it, a little bit down the road? Does it take, a while to do that? Whatever. That's your dashboard. You don't have to be an accountant. Just know what healthy looks like.
So important to know what's going on with your books. And when you track those things, you start noticing patterns. Like every time I take a class, my rebook rate goes up. And that's proof that you're growing, and that growth deserves a price reflection.
It does. It's all of these kind of like soft skills. And like, if you take the time, let's say you work in a salon, if you take the time when you have your one on one to speak with your manager or your owner or whatever, have them break that down for you. That's part of your business, right? If you feel uncomfortable with the numbers, please, please, please ask them. They can take 10, 15 minutes to break down what they're doing and like how growth looks for them, right? But these are the things that matter, right? It's these soft skills. It's oh, I went and took a class and now you're more excited about doing your job. You're getting people to rebook more often. You're doing whatever. That actually is like proof. Like you said, it's proof
You're
that you
also
can,
raising your skill level. So
yes.
your haircuts or your color are improving. And so you're offering a better service to your clients. That deserves positive feedback for you. And that is the money part.
Yeah. And I do want to talk honestly about the discount clients and the legacy clients. Okay. Here's the deal. I know that we say, like, you want to treat everyone fairly, but I understand that there will still be a few discount clients and there will still be a few legacy clients and all of that. Here's the real deal. If you are giving someone a discount, then you need to be getting something out of that discount
In
as well.
return. Yes,
Yes.
100%.
So, for example, I have a few contracts with different modeling agencies in New York City. This can relate to your life, and maybe you do it with, I don't know, students at a local university, maybe it's friends, whatever, you give them a discount. What you get for that discount for you as a stylist should equal what you feel like that amount of money that you're discounting is worth. So for me to charge models a little bit less, I know that then I get really great images for my social media. In
Yes.
return, that helps me to get new clients, right? So yes, they may pay, I don't know, half of what my rate is, but in return, I get some great imagery for my social media because they're really good at taking pictures of themselves and they're all beautiful. So like, of course I want that, right? So that is like a reason why.
Yeah.
The another reason I feel very strongly about this, so you can give someone a discount. So as your prices raise, you're moving into different kinds of people. There are some clients that I have, not a lot, but a few that I keep at the price that they are. We've known each other for 20 years, blah, 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 whatever, but I'm still getting something from that. My books are full at this point, like 3 weeks out, right? In New York, like that's a lot because people book last minute. So
Mhm.
if I have a few clients in there that I just actually learn something from, that I love talking to, that make me feel energized and I don't know, just like thinking and talking about new things, yeah, I'm going to keep them at a discounted price. I have one client who I've known him forever. He works on TV, but he can't afford a $200 haircut every month. So, yeah, let's do the old price. No problem. But you know what we do talk about every time he comes in? Hey, how are you using ChatGPT? How are you using AI? Have you tried this on your social media?
Yeah.
Oh, are you doing this? When
Yeah.
were starting the podcast, he was like, hey, I work in TV. What do you guys need help with? And yeah, I'm getting something that's not like money per se, but knowledge that I need or like.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? That's kind of how I feel about it. What are your thoughts?
Well, 100%. I don't want to be giving anything away for free. This is my
Yeah.
livelihood. This is my profession. This is how I make money. Why would I be giving it away to somebody and I'm not getting anything in return? It makes
Yeah.
no sense. And on the materialistic side of things, I do barter with
Yeah.
clients because,
Oh, that's a good one.
like, I have clients that are massage therapists that I trade with, and I'm getting something in return.
Yeah. I think when we were growing up in the industry, I'm not sure if it's quite like this now, but there was this expectation that you do things sometimes for free for exposure or it just be good to get your name out there, whatever. I actually feel like that's a little bit of a hustle. I think that you shouldn't do anything for free because free things don't have value by the nature of being free.
I agree. And talk about burnout. I
Oof.
mean, if we're going to talk about this, like Fashion Week,
Oh,
when you're
God.
young and you're
Fucking
hustling
fashion
and
week.
you're trying to like get experience under your belt, like I'm not young anymore. I don't want to carry a suitcase all across Manhattan and schlep my things. And maybe we can edit this out because
No, I think we should keep
ah,
this in because it's like my biggest pet peeve of the world.
well, yes. So you go and you carry a giant piece of luggage across the city and you risk injury for one.
Mm,
You're exhausted at the end of the day. And then you go and work with a bunch of people that aren't even nice to you or grateful or thankful that you spent your day with them for free.
uh-huh,
Like, that's unacceptable to me. If I showed up and people were grateful and nice to me and showed appreciation that I showed up and was on time and I worked my ass off, it would be a different story. But because I don't get paid, I refuse to be treated like that anymore. I
mhm,
refuse. I don't
mhm.
want to do it anymore.
Good. I love it. I love it. Listen, this is a very big thing in my head all the time is that the way you get appreciated as an adult, because we're no longer on like, the 6-year-old softball team and we don't get trophies, right? We're like grown adults now. So, like, when you get appreciated as an adult, it is most likely in a professional setting monetarily, right?
Right.
So, if
Right.
you appreciate me, then please pay me for whatever service or whatever it is. Like, you would never go to a law firm where when you're right out of law school and do an internship for free. Like, that wouldn't happen.
No.
If you were in your residency at med school and they're like, you know what? You can assist in this surgery and hand me the scalpel, but we're not going to pay you. What? Like,
No. Never
yeah,
happened.
no. The beauty industry is great for a lot of things, but man, can it be a hustle. Oof.
And borderline abusive sometimes.
Well, All right. So let's like double back over this. Let's give everyone a step by step checklist on what they can do to really make sure that they're raising their price in an appropriate way. So between Meissner and Ducoff and Dholakia and Gomez, which were all the people that we looked at for research, what we've learned is this: raising your prices isn't emotional, it's practical.
It's about capacity, consistency, confidence, and
Mm.
clarity. It's the 4 C's, if you will, and you can use that as reference.
God, that's great.
True.
And before we like wrap everything up, I think let's go over the key takeaways of this, right? So,
Yeah.
your checklist, if you're thinking about raising your prices. Number one, being at least 80% booked is a signal to raise your prices. It's not a status symbol.
And number two, price increases are maintenance. It's not an overhaul.
Great. Number three, transparency builds trust. So don't over explain.
And number four, guilt and generosity aren't the same thing.
Ooh, that's a good one. And number five is raising prices isn't about greed, it's actually about sustainability.
100%. And that's it. No spreadsheets, no shame, just structure and self respect.
Love it. Raising your prices isn't about greed, it's about integrity. You can't give your best if you're constantly underpaid.
No. And if this episode gave you a little courage to make that change, hit follow, like, and share it with a stylist who needs to hear it.
And you know what? I mean, honestly, if we're asking for things and not being weird about it, leave us a review. It helps more stylists find this community.
And you've been listening to Hair Smarter. Thanks for hanging out with us at It's the Break Room, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.